When you see things like this playing out in the crypto market, you should be concerned. You should know what it shows you because history kind of gives you a clear idea. Clear idea and a clear indication of what we have seen in similar patterns before. It's not just Luna, which we called out months earlier back in 2022. It's not just Celsius, which we called out months earlier in 2021. And it's not just FTT, which we called out a couple of months earlier, saying it can be the next Luna or Celsius. Now, what's important is this. I told you guys, watch, this can be the next Luna or FTT now. So be careful. And that call was right at the top of $8. Now, why am I saying this? You guys need to understand there are people who have been heavily invested into these tokens. That's a big sum of money dropping 90% of its value. That's not good. And if you look through their due diligence, it's the fundamentals. It's how the things work. It's the news, the narratives. They fell for it. Even though the charts were showing you someone big is using your liquidity to move out, they did not listen. And that is exactly why I say it's a family. Be in here, understand these negative flags, the red flags. You do not have to touch on those. Why would you? Because think about this. The argument here, which I made 2 months back, was this. The risk seems substantially high. You are here as an investor. You're looking at the reward to the risk. If the risk is way bigger than your reward, why would you be there? Whether it's at $5, whether it's at $8, it was not looking like a good investment. Look at the volume. It didn't match up, and that's exactly why I told you guys, step out. It may not be the right asset. Now, in this crypto market, you have other assets building on top of negative divergence. And when I say negative divergence, understand this. This shit played out the negative divergence over negative divergence over negative divergence without invalidating it. So you have the weekly, you have the monthly negative divergence, which was not invalidated. And what happened at the end matters way, way more than what you are looking at in the current assets. It sure was like a Luna or FTX. But what's optimistic? Yeah. Where in this market can you look for opportunities? Let's break those down. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% in this market. Just avoiding those kind of rug pulls give you a lot of certainty, because if you're going into this market putting in this amount of cash, fundamentals, news, I agree, it all matters, but the market cycle matters a lot more. Where in this cycle are you now? Are you at an accumulation? Are you at a distribution? Are you entering into a bull market, at least a bull season? It matters a lot. Now let's break things down. Like the news and narrative which is coming out is like this. Oh, that's bullish. Yeah, agreed. Now watch. There was very good news for Apple. The tariffs being reduced from 145 to 20. But this is how the market reacted. Sell the news. Yeah. Now watch. This is what you're looking at. It looks like this guy is about to be kicked out, and the next one is going to most likely cut the rates. When will that get priced into the market? So the macro, the fundamentals, it does matter. I'm not saying it do not, but what I'm saying is historically these kind of patterns are clearly visible in the price action before they show that. Whether it was Luna, whether it was Celsius, whether it was FTT, or even the Binance, which dropped after that. You all know that. You can check the history of the chart, the date, and when it dropped. That gives you the idea how you can be prepared in this market. Now let's look at which direction the market is taking us, because if you pick this, the question is, when can I see something bullish in my altcoins? Yeah. Now the first question is, are you in altcoins with negative divergence or with bullish divergence? That decides your future in the near term in crypto market. If you're in here for next 5, 10, 15 years, that may not matter much. But for next 6 months, it does. Now, watch. This kind of a pattern playing out usually takes a lot of time. We just saw. Like, think about this. Luna, it played out over a long period. But the drop was so big, it went to zero. So the longer it takes to build that, the harder it will drop. Think about it. Back then, like 3 years back, I told you, if we do not break this pattern to the upside, it's going to be correcting to the downside. And taking your profits here, it's not bad. Think about that. Now, if it's a reverse cup and handle like this, around the top like this, where your strength is going down, that's a pure negative divergence. That was Celsius back then. Now watch FTT. And I was saying this at that time too. Look, the negative divergence is getting extended. Yeah. So this can be the next Luna or Celsius. Now we see what's happening. So the negative divergence getting extended should be the red flag for you. The best flag is what? This kind of thing. It can drop to the downside as soon as it breaks that pattern. Now, how can we use that information right now in the crypto market? The Bitcoin dominance, yeah? This thing is showing you a pattern like this is building up. You already broke that to the downside. Now you're retesting it. I love that. I love the fact that it is retesting that. Why? Any rejection there is going to give you a magical move in the crypto market, but only for those assets with bullish divergence. This is the tough part. Like when you go in to some of these assets, whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not, when you're in the market observing them on a macro, on a micro, and you see, okay, the long-term history rhymes, short to medium term history is showing you bullish divergence. There can be a choppiness. There literally can be a phase where it's accumulation. We have seen that over and over again. And if that's playing out, boom, you have an opportunity. Now, how big can be this exponential growth? Is it an exponential growth on a 4-hour chart, or it's going to be a daily or a 3-day? This is where you get aligned. You buy, you wait on the assets with bullish divergence, not the other side. Now to my favorite asset, XRP from last 7 years. The negative divergence on a weekly is not getting sorted out. The negative divergence which you're watching now is on a 3-day. Even that is not getting kicked out. I want to see that getting invalidated. It's not doing that yet. I want to see that getting invalidated on a weekly. It's not happening as of now. So, for you, being honest, literally watch your trend lines. It matters way, way more than anything else. Watch your momentum. At least on a daily, on a 3-day, if you're getting to see that reversing, okay, maybe you'll have a relief rally. How high can that go? What does the market need to show you to invalidate the negativeness, right? So now come back to Bitcoin, because this matters way more. Bitcoin right now on a 3-day is here. What do you think? If you push this higher, now one of the primary factor I need to take you to is there's a 3-day chart, and the next 3-day candle opens exactly tomorrow, which is like 21 hours from now. So if that happens to be in green, guys, the RSI is breaking higher, which means in next 10 days, it can be choppy, it's okay, but that thing is about to go back up to retest, maybe 95, maybe 100, I don't know. But this is going to open up the opportunity zone in the alt market, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Now, why? Why would I say something like that in this market structure? You see this? This is my argument. That's total alt market on a 3-day chart. That looks good. I mean, it can remain a bit choppy here and then go up. So those who are accumulating in this last 30-40 days, they're going to be rewarded. Now, how high, how big, how quick, I don't know. That's why I say I follow the charts, and whenever there is a critical update in an asset or the general market, I come over here, I update you guys. That's why you guys see these. Think about this. When the price is going up parabolically, everyone else is shouting real world assets, coming out there and saying, guys, this is going to be the next Luna or FTT. That's the hardest part. Meaning, if it blows up from there, going to 8, from 8 to 16, 20, you're proven wrong. And a lot of people think, oh, they missed that opportunity just because of you. The credibility goes down. So the amount of risk an individual like me has to take to come out in front of you guys to say, guys, maybe I'm wrong. But if I'm right and you're wrong, there's a lot to lose for you. But if I'm wrong, yeah, it's okay. But what are the odds? What's the textbook pattern? What's the history? If that all aligns with someone who's trying to give you the real value, I believe it has to be taken seriously. And I'm so happy that all of these things which I showed you, we called it out before all the major crashes which we saw in last 4 years, 5 years. And I'm so happy that none of you, not majority of you, were not trapped in FTX, not in Luna. And that was being a part of the scientific investor family. Now, let's push it on a macro. Like, this is what we can look for next 30, 40 days. What can you look out for next 30 to 60 days? You can go on a weekly, which would be the best sign. Yeah. And that is a big indicator for me. I mean, this is momentum based, but I'm looking at the total number of days it took to reverse. Yeah. I'm looking at the total number of days it spent below the moving average to go back above it. So here we are. 140 days would be somewhere in June. Now, the question is, how long did it take from there to reach the top? 30 days. I love that. I mean, I love the fact that the market can just rip through the roof just like that. I mean, think about it. On one side or the other, when you look at it and you say, see, the patience of 140 days gets rewarded in just 30 days if you're disciplined and you have the patience to do that. Fine. Now, what's the ROI structure to the downside and to the upside? And if you're shorting, what's your ROI? Below the moving average, you had a 23% to the downside. Fine. At the peak, yeah? So, at the peak, if you put it below the moving average, you have 23.09. That's not accurate, but it's very close. I mean, it is very close. Now, measure this here. You pick it from here to this point and you're like, okay, 19%, that's good. That's not bad. Now, if I pick this one here, that's 25%. That's all close. Like, it's very close enough to argue the fact that we are there. Why wouldn't we think about it positively? Now, what do I mean? Price going down, and how can you take it positively? It's only positive when you're buying at these lows of the region. Fine. Now, what's the upside like? The first one was really good, 170%, perfect. The next one was not bad, 148%. So even if the next one is going to be just 100% move, that's coming somewhere up here. Will you take part in that? Because think about it, when the alt market did a 170%, there was a lot of assets which did 10x. Even XRP did. Yeah? Think about it. When the price went up in alt market for 150%, XRP went up crazy. So if a large cap asset can do that now, what would you think other assets are going to do when the Bitcoin dominance is about to drop, when everything you see is slowing down. This is my argument. Get positioned well enough into the assets which show you the bullish momentum on a weekly, on a 3-day, and you get to ride these. The only thought process you need is, am I aligned well? What would be the resistance? Where should I get out? Where should I be concerned? What should I look at? And all of that is available in the Scientific Investor family. Use the link in the description. Make sure next 3 months, the last chance of this cycle, you use it well. Not the hype, the reality. That's exactly what you have to follow. So if you haven't smashed the like button yet, I really don't understand what video will you hit that like button for. It's up to you guys. I'll be there on the next video. Bye for now.